What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Jamar Montgomery of drjamarmontgomery.com. And this was a piece that I had written some weeks back, maybe a couple, yeah, almost, maybe about 6 weeks back. And it got me, I was thinking about immigration, right? And many of us look at immigration as a human rights issue. Um, and in some ways, it is a human rights issue. But there are more perspectives to see immigration, particularly here in the United States. There are more lenses that we can see it through. So, the title of this piece is called Unchecked Immigration as De facto Colonization. Many people have the feeling that a civil war is brewing in America. I am one of those people. But I'm not a fly by night conspiracy theorist. I predicted this civil war while I was in law school back in 2013 that a civil war was coming within the next 10 to 15 years. So 10 to 15 years from 2013 would be 2023 to 2028. However, I do not believe that this civil war will take place between Democrats or Republicans or liberals or conservatives, even though that's how it will be marketed. The Second American Civil War will become as a result of America's immigration policies and the financial beneficiaries of police nationalism. Immigration is a good thing when done fiscally responsibly. Immigration is good when you have a system to vet, accept, reject, and rescind visas and residencies. Immigration is good when the American people have a say in who comes over and how much the American people supports them. Immigration is couched as a humanitarian and human rights issue, when in all reality, it is a constitutional and civil rights issue with heavy, heavy, heavy financial and economic ramifications and consequences. We get the immigration debate all wrong because we start off with incorrect premises. The first incorrect premise is this: the United States is a country of immigrants. The United States began as a country of colonialists, religious rejects, persecuted Christians, and criminals who came over to take the land from the indigenous Americans and African descendants who were already on this land. The people who came here had a specific purpose, and they brought enslaved Africans against their will to cultivate and develop the land and natural resources of America. Why is it important that we correct that premise that the United States is a country made of immigrants, or we're all immigrants in this country? We have to correct it because many advocates for and against immigration point to the history of Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, and the conquistadors as a sign that America was a land welcoming and begging for exploration, or rather, exploitation. It was not. When we analyze immigration, specifically illegal immigration, when we analyze it through this lens, through this historical lens, we recognize that immigration, quote unquote, only serves the immigrant. It never serves or considers the indigenous people already living here. It didn't consider the Native Americans that were living here already. It didn't consider the Africans that were living here already. The only thing that was considered were the resources that America had and bringing them back to Spain, England, France, and the Netherlands. Just like those pilgrims and conquistadors, illegal immigrants are taking advantage of porous and open/unprotected borders. And they're reaping the benefits of that land and ecosystem that took generations of cultivation and development. Back then, it was a rich agrarian societies. Today, it is rich capitalistic democracies with legislatively protected social safety nets. So we're talking about Social Security. We're talking about health care and Medicare and Medi-Cal. We're talking about those safety nets that were there in place for American citizens. The same way that babies and children and women were brought here to establish and build cultures is also the same way that fighting age men were, or military age men were brought to fight, establish, and defend this new society. These people did not immigrate to America, they colonized it. They did not learn the language, but they set up enclaves. They did not pay taxes or engage in tributes to the land or respect the customs of the people were already caring for and inhabited the land. The leaders of these indigenous tribes weren't given the respect, decency, or dignity of meeting with the rulers of Spain, Portugal, England, or any other colonial power. When we look at immigration, we have to look at the entire historical perspective. It is easy for us to call America a country of immigrants. You can't call yourself a country of immigrants and then ignore what the immigrants of 1600 and the 1500s did in America. At the same time, you can't say that you want to protect the borders without establishing the actual brutal history of America, that this land was stolen. And now, as a result of not wanting to be a victim of what our forefathers, of what the American forefathers did to the Native Americans that were here already, that we want to protect our borders. America is going to have to reckon with her history and be honest. Be honest in the debates. Be honest with the historical perspective. Be honest with the cultural context and the current context of today. If America wants to stave off the instability that is currently being taken advantage of here in America. Dr. Jamar Montgomery, thank you for rocking with me, y'all. drjamarmontgomery.com. Take care.